With different commands, you had right in the line, on right, right, right turn, left turn, wheel left, wheel right. So we did all these cavalry maneuvers with these horses, and the horses were trained, and we just sat back, went for the ride. So after that, I was with the cavalry unit, and we trained our horses to do the same thing. They did the same thing. So that's how you train the horse. The cavalry school was a lot of work. Right after that, I graduated. At the week, I was home, and I got a phone call, I don't know, sometime and said, do you want to be in a movie? And I thought it was a host. I said, what clown called me want to be in a movie? So anyway, I talked to him as one of the directors, and what they did after we graduated, they sent our resume to Hollywood. So Hollywood is going to make a movie in Texas called Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Rider. So they summoned us. So I flew out there. 4.5 weeks, we filmed that movie. I was with Sam Elliott, Gary Busey, George Hamilton, Brian Keith, Marshall Teague, a host of others, So a lot of you ladies know Sam Elliott. You heard of Sam Elliott? The mustache is not real. It's a prop. It really is. Because we were sitting there at the bar one day, and that woman said, Sam don't give out autographs. And the woman come up and said, can I smell you? He said, what do you mean smell me? He said, you don't give out autographs, so let me smell you. So, and then he took the mustache off, because he had such an overbite. So, the mustache is not real. So I had a good time working with Sam. He's funny. So I work with a lot of different actors out there, so. Yes, sir.
The younger generation that we have coming up, do you have any advice? I actually brought my 17-year-old son today. What you would say about giving what you've experienced to our youth about serving our country, how to do it, and why to do it, or why not to?
Well, that's kind of almost a loaded question, because today's military is so different than what we do. Now they got buttons. They got bullets that go behind the wall, and laser don't see you. And we had to use our brains to think. Kill to be killed was our model. Nowadays, they got more of a chance of staying alive. So I always tell, if you go to the military, nothing against the Army, nothing against the Marines. If you're going to go to the military, get an education. Go to the Navy, go to the Air Force. That's where you school. Now, Army's don't get me wrong, Army got some school, but Army and the Marines are combat. That's what they strive in. Now, there's some Air Force that got combat. There's some Navy, but that's your school. So if he's gonna make a career out of it, he wants to get his school, he wants to go be a lawyer, doctor, those are two. I'm not knocking an Army, because I was with the Army. So if I was him, you gotta have your head straight, and you gotta be dedicated. You gotta be able to be tough, because these DIs are not as tough they were when we coming up. They're a little bit softer when we was coming up. I know a lot of these guys know that. Nowadays, the DIs, they don't call you names, they don't touch you, because nothing against the mothers, but the mothers kept calling the congressman back in the day. And they were, excuse me, they were hitting little Jimmy. But us, they would take a rifle butt and hit us with a fist. I think we're a lot more tougher than these guys are. So, it's loaded question. It's how he perceives it. But if he wants to be a combat veteran, a combat soldier, go to your combat units. And if you want to be a school, do a degree, go to the Air Force or the Navy. I hope I answered your question, though. Yes, sir. I didn't get a Grammy or an Emmy or Oscar. That's what you talking about? I did Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders, and that's the only one I did because I was asked to do Danny Glover's Buffalo Soldier, but I couldn't get our word. I did a host of documentaries. I did a documentary for Kansas City, Missouri Crossword Production about the Buffalo Soldiers. I did a Buffalo Soldier American West film out in Colorado. I did a host of different documentaries. And the last film was the Isabel Brothers, which got an award. I was in that one here. And 3 months ago, they got an award for that documentary. Most of them were documentaries.
President Bruce, would you take a minute, more than a minute, to lift up your experiences with General Colin Powell as far as the Buffalo Soldier statue and your affiliation and the services that you do at Fort Leavenworth? Yeah, would you expound on that just for a second?
Well, if I can, because, I didn't work close with Colin Powell. Colin Powell, was the force behind the monument in Leavenworth. If you haven't seen that monument, you need to get a chance to see it. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that monument. But Colin Powell was a great inspiration on that. If I could remember when he was there, before he made general, he was there at the War College, and I guess he seen a street called 10th Cavalry. Is that right, Donna? And he seen that and said, we got to do more for the Buffalo Soldiers. And so when he did, he created a monument, got together with another Carlton Philpott, and they got together, got the funds, and they built that monument. And to where it is now, it's called Circle of First. In 2014, 15, we dedicated Colin Powell bus 2015, right? We had to unveil. He came into town. His bus is up there 2015. And then, last year when he passed on, we laid the wreath at that Colin Powell. But to tell you a little bit about the monument, nowadays, what they're doing down up there, they're building a new museum up there. And the museum is going to be outside the gate, from what I understand. And the reason why they're putting it outside the gate, the military has made it so hard for you to get on the fort to see this monument. I mean, it's absolutely hard to get on there. So they're putting it out. They even going to put a replica of the statue out there so you can see it off the road. And that's when the process is now. We're in the process of having fundraisers for that event. If you see on the table, you'll see our golf tournament. That's what that's for. We're having a fundraiser to help the funds with the United States Army and everybody else involved to help build this museum so people like you don't have to go on the fort to see this. And the Circle of First, if you go to Circle of First, you got everything up there that has something to do with the Buffalo Soldiers. You have Benjamin Grierson, who was the first commander of the 10th Cavalry. You have Henry O. Flipper. He was the first Afro-American graduate from West Point. And Henry O. Flipper stayed at West Point for 5 years and nobody never talked to him. They never spoke to him because he was black. And he became one of the commanders. Unfortunately, he got railroaded. They gave him a dishonorable discharge because they said it was misappropriate of funds. And they found out it wasn't. He paid it back. And years later, they went back and gave him his honorable discharge. So, and then we got the triple nickel I talk about, the all Afro-American paratroopers. We have, there's some more out there. Oh, Roscoe Brown, the first 4-star general. Not Colin Powell, Roscoe Brown. Then they put one more out there. Later on down the line, you may get a chance. There's some women, and they call the 6888 postal workers. They put their bust out there in Circle First because of what they did in World War II. Story has it, I don't know the whole story, that they took mail in a building with windows were blacked out. These all black women took this mail. This mail was stacked up to the ceiling. I hope I'm telling my story right. They blacked out 3 warehouses. And they had so many months to get this done. They did it in about 6. for 3 months. They had 6 months, then they did it in 3. So they did that, and they went again back to France, did the same thing. So when they came home, they never gave them their recognition. But they just gave them a Congressional Medal of Honor. And there's only like 5 left. 4. There's 4 left. Yeah, 6 at a time. And they did this. And their bust is that. They at the Circle of F.I.S.H. Now, there was another female, but her name was Kathy Williams, who in turn, when she went in with the infantry in 1868, she reversed her name. She went in as a man. She changed it. Her name was Kathy Williams. She reversed it to William Kathy. And she did everything, you know, there's a story behind her, but I won't get into it. That's her thunder, so I'm not going to get into it. But anyway, the United States military would not put her, the Army would not put her in the Circle first, because she said that she's a fraud, the military, because she was one of the few women that and then when they discharged, they found out she was a female, they just immediately discharged her, wouldn't give her a pension, so there's a lot of story behind her. She explains that story real tough, so. Any other questions?
Right, Uncle JR, could you talk about, yes, can you, can you talk about the portrait that you said, that they did for you on Buffalo Soldiers that you can Google and it comes up?
What portrait?
The portrait of you, the Buffalo Soldiers.
Oh, the one?
Yes.
Oh, the one, the big tall one?
Yeah.
It's not up there. Anyway, they did a portrait of me, me and a couple other guys. This artist named Essence Garner, and he did a portrait of himself. He's a great artist, and he's out of Jeff City, and he did this portrait. He did 3 portraits of him. One's an oil painting, and 2 watercolor. And that's only one original oil painting. I have that one. It stayed up in the state capitol for 5 years before it was released to me and another gentleman. So the oil painting was great. Like I said, I have it, and I have the prints. I think my sisters got the prints, so I got this. So thank you. What? These are my sisters. In front of everybody. Who? I was happy. This girl wore me out. Well, sis, I didn't think about it at that time, because I went to Fort Leonard Wood. I wasn't thinking about it, you know. It never hit me until I got to Vietnam. And then it became a reality that I'll probably never see my family again, like a lot of us soldiers. You don't know when your time's up. There's been guys that got on planes, get ready to go home. We witnessed it, get ready to get on. They short time in the country, get up to the steps, a sniper takes them out. So you never know what's going to happen over there. And you know, I always say this. Sometimes I get in trouble. It's just the way I feel. You know, you got these guys running around here, these thugs, or whatever you want to call them. They want to gun down people. If you're going to gun down some people, join the military if you want to shoot weapons. Quit taking people's lives for stupid stuff. You know, drive by kids on the sidewalk for stupid stuff that didn't make sense because somebody took $1 from them. You know, if you want to show how tough you are, get in the military. Because if I was judge, I'd do it like this. You know, if I was a judge, I'd do like this. Since you don't want, I said, I'll send you to the military. You're a bad actor. You done killed all these people. I said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you 2 bullets. One for you and one for the enemy. Now you take your pick which one you want to shoot first. So that's just the way I am because it's sad. I know I'm getting away from my story a little bit. It's sad that you take these young people taking people's lives at random for no reason. No reason, you know, and I'm like this, I'm gonna say it, you know, God don't, you know, people worry about color and race. What for? When it's time for you to go, God's gonna look at, we all one bouquet of roses. Because he's gonna pick that rose bush regardless. You can't put death in that way. Anybody else?
Any other questions for John?
I'll take one more. Okay?
That's it. John, welcome home. Welcome home. Thank you.
Oh, I want to do something real quick. I want to do something. Can I do this? First of all, I'd like to, she's already stand. I'd like to introduce my wife. Would you please stand, babe? Now, see, I'm a sergeant. That's my general there. And then I want to, will my sisters please stand up? Oh, where's he at? Where's my son? Right there. Oh, I don't even know who he is. That's my oldest son. My nephew, niece, would you please stand, nephews and niece? Now, would Alexander Madison Chapter Buffalo Soldiers please stand?
Yeah. There you go.
Thank you.
Hey, John, we're going to do a picture with all of you here in a moment. But why don't you go have a seat, because now it's going to get crazy, John. Ain't that right? But again, John, and I don't know if you heard me earlier, I kind of whispered. John, welcome home. Thank you. All right. So I need my friend Bull to help me on this one. All right. So if you are a veteran or active duty and you've not gotten a ticket, would you please hold your hand up? Haven't gotten a ticket? Have not? Loach, you need a ticket. Okay. I saw you sneak in, so, you know. Anybody else? Let's see. Keep your hand up.